Hey everyone, welcome back to another segment of the MCR Mac and Me. My name's TJ, and in this segment, uh, just compelled to advise those who might make their way to California that you better be prepared for no fast food in that state.
You bring your own lunch.
Yeah, bring your own lunch. And this goes slightly off topic, but I have occasionally pounded the pulpit about how so few people truly understand economics. It's a boring topic, but if you don't understand economics, you end up with a state like California. You know?
Well, I wonder. It's not so much a lack of understanding. It's the goal in California to turn that
Well,
into a communist totalitarian state.
Just last year, I want to say in September, I think it was last year in September, Newsom made a big hubbub about how those in the fast food industry were getting a minimum wage of $20 an hour because, and you hear this phrase a lot too, because they need a livable wage, and I know that's not honestly, it's a job I wouldn't want to do.
Oh,
It's not the easy,
you got to put up with abusive people.
Oh yeah, and anyways, the latest victim, Arby's, and I don't know if they shut down statewide, but they did shut down in L.A. because they can't. And I heard this in the news a couple months ago. People can't even go to McDonald's now, even though I mentioned Arby's. They can't go to these fast food places because these fast food places are like 20, 25, $30. Heck, you go to here in Michigan, you're going to spend at least $10 per person, $10 to $15 per person at the fast food places here in the Detroit metropolitan area. And it's to the point where it's almost cheaper at a sit-down restaurant.
Well, I did
sit down Coney Island.
At my local pub. I did hear a guy say he got a steak sandwich, and this was a little while ago, but it was $12, and it's a nice sandwich, a nice meal. And he said, "Oh man, this is great for $12." He goes, "I go to McDonald's and I spend 15, and I leave hungry."
Yeah, yeah, and basically what you got happening here is, and it's not just Arby's, it's multiple chains, McDonald's, Burger King. Which, by the way, there's not very many Burger Kings left in the Detroit metropolitan area. They're failing. They're shutting them things down in my area. I think I know of one still exists where, heck, there used to be like 3 or 4 within a 5-mile radius of my place, and now right now I can only think of one. Anyway, as I digress, the pizza delivery guys, Pizza Hut, they're laying off the delivery guys. I guess there's no more delivery. You want pizza, you got to come get it. Come pick your pizza up. But
I don't pay. I don't want to have to. I mean, it just adds to the cost and makes it unaffordable. Because if you know what, if you can't tip, don't order.
Yeah, a little bit of an irony here, and Mac, I won't speak for yourself. I'll speak for myself. Back in the 1960s, when I was a little kid, we couldn't exactly afford to go to McDonald's a whole lot.
No, we didn't either.
I remember it was a big deal if we were able to get to McDonald's, and that was in the Lincoln Park Southgate area.
Right.
is where I grew up. But yeah, so I don't know. Has things really changed? It's
gone full circle. You can't afford to go there again, but for different reasons.
That is exactly what I was thinking.
California, they want to talk about a living wage. I would challenge Governor Newsom and any leftist. Try this out. You want to increase someone's salary? Let me ask you this question. You work. I don't anymore, but when I did, I could make this reference. How much, if you weren't taxed on your income, how much more money would you have every week?
Ooh, a lot.
Well, here's the challenge for Governor Newsom, since he's so altruistic, so compassionate. take your tax money off these people's back. Let them work for what they get. So if they make $15 an hour or $10 an hour or $5 an hour, how much more would that be if they didn't have to pay taxes? See, the Democrats are never going to give up their tax money.
Yeah.
I would tell you the same thing in Michigan. You want to do something to alleviate the suffering of people with the gas pump? Suspend the gas tax for a year. See, they're never going to give up their money. Never. Because you know what? They think of it as their money.
Yeah. Off topic, but Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the governor of Arkansas, is in the process, and it looks like she's going to be successful. She's in the process of doing away with their state income tax there in Arkansas.
Well, it'll bring business and it'll bring residents.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say you're an NFL player, right? And you're pretty good, and you're a free agent, and you can go to the Detroit Lions, who are going to be a very good football team this year by all accounts, or you could go to the Tennessee Titans, and you're making big. Let's say you're Jared Goff, and you're getting $30 million a year. $30 million. Do you want to go to play in Tennessee, or do you want to play in Detroit, where in Tennessee you don't pay a state tax? That's a big chunk of change, brother.
What you just mentioned is a no-brainer because all sorts of businesses, for a variety of reasons, to include no state tax, so many businesses are relocating to Tennessee. It's centrally located in the eastern half of the United States. So in regards to shipping, it's very important to be centrally located. But the added benefit is the tax issue, like you just mentioned.
Right.
But back to California though, the news reports were reporting. They estimate at least 10,000 jobs have been lost in the fast food industry since the $20 an hour minimum wage has kicked
Oh, no
in.
worry. Even though there aren't any in California, they'll blame it on Trump, and they'll blame it on the Republicans. And dumbasses will believe it.
There's a restaurant chain, and I've never heard of this place. Maybe perhaps you have, Mac, but there's a restaurant chain in California that goes by Rubio's Coastal Grill. Okay. Well, I don't know how many franchises they have in California, but 48 of them are closing. Okay.
But this is, you know what? Just fill in the blank as to what's closing and what's leaving next.
And one final poke in the eye on this topic. And Mac, I do believe you're going to blow a gasket when you hear what I'm going to report here. Panera Bread was exempted from the $20 an hour minimum pay hike. So Mac, here's one final poke in the eye that I expect you're going to explode over. Because when I read it, I thought, holy cow, if they don't have the nerve. Panera Bread has been exempted from the $20 minimum wage. It is being reported that Panera Bread's billionaire CEO Greg Flynn has donated to Newsom and the Democrats there in California. So there you have it.
Well, they allege themselves to be, and that, it may be true. I don't know. I'd have to do a deep dig into this, but they allege themselves to be a very charitable organization. How they give their stale bread to people in need.
Yeah.
Which I'm not knocking. You know what? Better than in the garbage, but
the news source is cited in this.
I don't know why they're getting. What was the reason given that they're exempted?
The suspicion is it's an accusation because he was donating to the Democrats. This is payback. So that's the accusation.
Quid pro quo, in other words.
Exactly.
For those who don't know, and that's a Latin phrase, it means this for that.
Yeah.
You donate, and I exempt you.
Well, and that's what's happened with Panera Bread, because I got to tell you, they're fast food.
More or less, yeah.
So, I mean, they're selling dough products right along there with Pizza Hut. When you get
Pizza
right
Hut
down
is
to
every
it.
bit as much a sit-down place as Panera Bread.
Yeah, really. So, And that would be the final poke in the eye on this whole topic,
Well,
So,
it just reeks of more communist hypocrisy.
well, hierarchy, elitism, we're in charge, and it's going to be our way, So there it is. There it is. And and you know what? I have trouble feeling sorry for the people in California when they got to pay $25 at McDonald's. I mean, hey, this is what you guys this is what what even if you didn't vote for it, your complacency facilitated it,
Well, you're
you know?
taking the high road. May have
Yeah.
may have facilitated it.
And you know what? And we hadn't even talked about how if you go into McDonald's, and I'm thinking of McDonald's in particular here, you got these machines, these automated kiosks. And you know what? I still struggle trying to figure these things out. I end up just going to the counter because half the time I can't figure out how to pay the thing, you know?
Well, I'm pretty smart, so I got it down.
Well, okay, you're a better man than I am, Gunga Din, you know?
Right.
But anyways, yeah, even, you know what, you got the self-serve checkouts, which by the way, some of the stores are reconsidering that because so much thievery's going on there.
Right.
They're reevaluating the self-checkout
Well, Dollar General
cashiers.
in my area has dropped it. They
Yeah.
dropped it because I talked to a lady there, a manager, and she said they were getting, and I find this hard to believe, but she said $3,000 a day in theft.
Sinfulness of human nature. That's for sure.
Well, you know what? If you want to play the game of making me do your work, then oh well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll call this one a wrap. Thanks everyone for your support. Well, catch you in the next segment. As always, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.